Hey there guys, this is Chef Chris, and today we are making my classic burger made with homemade buns, hun. That's right, we're making homemade hamburger buns today. Very simple, delicious, and we're topping off this burger with an egg, a fried egg. Oh man, I'm surprised how many people actually haven't had an egg on top of a burger. Surprising, but it is so delicious. Alright, so we're going to get started with making the buns, guys. Very simple. We got 1.5 teaspoons of yeast here, active yeast. To that, we're going to add a half a cup of warm water. Now, you want the water to be about 105, 110 degrees, okay? Very important. That's going to help activate the yeast. What else is going to help is 2 teaspoons of sugar. Yeast loves sugar. It's going to eat on that. Give it a nice little stir. Put that aside for about 10 to 15 minutes, okay? We'll be back and you'll see what it does. All right, we're also going to have some milk. We got half a cup of milk and 1 tablespoon of butter that we threw in the microwave. Again, you want that about 105 and 110 degrees. Very important. All right, so we've got 2 cups and 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour. We added about a teaspoon of salt. We mix that in. We set that aside. So about 15 minutes later, you can tell the yeast has activated. As you saw, it becomes really foamy, almost like a top of a beer. To that, we're going to throw in that milk and that butter mixture. We're going to toss in that flour that had a little bit of salt, and we are going to get dirty now. Just get your hands, mix it on in. Now, usually I use a bread machine, but I figured a lot of people don't have one, so this is the way to make homemade bread. Very simple. The only thing that takes a long time is waiting. Otherwise, it's literally will take you 15-20 minutes to make all this bread. All right, so once it's going to be very sticky at this point, so you want to go ahead and get a clean counter. Pour some flour on there, some more all-purpose flour, and we're going to start kneading it. We're basically just going to grab one side, as you can tell, knead it, go ahead and flip it around, grab the other side, knead it, throw in a little flour as you knead it. It's going to be very sticky at this point, so adding just a little bit of flour every time you knead it will be perfect. You don't want to add too much flour, you don't want it dry. I'm about 8 minutes in. You're going to stand there and do this for about 10 minutes. It's a little tedious, but it's not hard work, and it's well worth it. 10 minutes later, George, just go ahead and create a nice little ball with that dough. And we're going to throw it into a nice little bowl that has some olive oil. You want to make sure everything's covered with a little bit of olive oil, cover with some saran wrap, and we're going to just leave it in a warm place. Now, because it's summer, I throw it in the oven because the oven is off. Do not have it on. But it's the warmest place probably in my house right now because we have the cooler on. All right, so at 1 hour later, the dough has risen. Now, it is gorgeous, my favorite. Oh, I love smell. If you're walking to a bakery, the smell of dough is amazing. All right, so 1 hour later, as you can tell, it's still sticky, and that's what you want. You want a nice little sticky dough, but not too sticky. It didn't stick to the board even. So at this point, we are going to start shaping our buns. Now, what you're going to do is grab a spatula or a dough cutter, and we're going to slice it in half. This recipe will make 6 buns exactly, or maybe about 10 sliders even, if you want them smaller. Now, what I'm doing is I cut everything evenly to make sure each bun will be the exact same size. And basically, I'm just going to roll it into a circle here. I'm just going to grab it and make it into a ball. I couldn't see the shot very well. I'm so sorry about that, but they're very simple to make. Just roll them around, make sure they're a perfect circle, and voila. All right, now, if you want your burgers to be big, don't do that step. If you want them as regular buns, go and smash them down. Then we're going to cover them again with just a regular house towel. Throw it back in the oven that is not turned on, and give it another hour. Now, like I said, it takes time, but it's all worth it. All right, after another hour, they have risen again. We're going to put an egg wash on top, which is basically just 1 egg, a little bit of milk or water. I use milk in mine. And because I'm fancy, I wanted to show off my buns so everyone knew they were homemade. And I just cut a nice little X right into the top. I should have used a sharper knife, but just give it a little personality. Now, I was thinking top them off with poppy seeds or sesame seeds. I went with poppy because of the black. I thought that would be a nice little addition. All right, so now we have the oven heated at 400 degrees, okay? And we are gonna bake these for 15 minutes. It says 380, but that's because I opened the oven and let some of that heat out. 15 minutes later, look at those. Beautiful. I'll show you a little picture later on, okay? All right, it's time to start making the hamburger. We have got some fresh parsley here that we're chopping up. Now, I like everything spicy, as you guys should know by now, so I am using a cayenne pepper. From the garden, just chopping that up finely. We also got a nice little serrano pepper that we're going to chop up finely as well. And we're going to toss that into the hamburger. So we also got this beautiful red onion that we're giving a dice. A couple of garlics that we're also going to dice up finally. And time to incorporate it. I've got 1 pound of ground beef here. 80-20% is my favorite. We're going to toss in those red onions, those beautiful chilies that we had chopped up. Let's see, what are we throwing in next? Oh, of course, that beautiful garlic. I got a couple ingredients that I didn't show y'all that I'm going to throw in here in a minute. And at this point, we're going to throw in an egg yolk. Not the whole egg. The whole egg is more like a meatloaf. I just like to throw in the egg yolk. It does wonders to what a hamburger is. It's amazing. We're going to throw in that fresh flat leaf Italian parsley that we had. A nice squeeze of Dijon mustard. A nice splash of your favorite hot sauce. Mine is Louisiana. I love it. A generous pinch of salt. And what are we adding? Oh, and because it can never be too spicy for me, we're going to throw in some crushed pepper flakes. Top it off with some fresh cracked black pepper, and last but not least, a little splash or a generous splash of Worcestershire sauce. And it's time to get dirty once again. Get your hands in there and mix everything well. Don't overwork it, just make sure it's mixed. Alright, now a little trick, because you can't taste it and see if it's seasoned perfectly, just make a little burger. I made a tiny little hand burger, threw it on the grill, just so I can give it a taste and find out if I need to add a little more salt, maybe a little more garlic, what I need to do. But I had to do nothing. It was amazingly perfect. I just couldn't wait to get a bigger one. Alright, time to make the patties. Now, I'm using a ring mold. You can use these. These are used to cut cookies. You can find them at any pastry store. I use them so much. Basically, what's going to throw the meat in, it's going to ensure that every patty is perfectly round and they all look alike. For presentation, it just looks beautiful. We're going to transfer those patties to a plate. We're going to put them in the fridge for just about 20, 25, 30 minutes just to stiffen up a little bit because they were pretty warm at that point, okay? All right, so instead of french fries, I figured I'd make some potato skins or just potato wedges in a sense. So I got a non-stick pan here with a little bit of vegetable oil. The heat here is about medium high. And once that oil heats up, we're going to go ahead and toss in these potatoes. Like I do with everything clockwise, so I know which one goes in first, which one I need to flip first, and they all cook evenly. But at this point, it's been about 5-10 minutes. You know, they take a little bit of while to get that beautiful brown color that you're looking at right here. I mean, this picture right here, I almost just want to take a picture of this. Look at that. Beautiful. Alright, so I give us a flip and we were good. Alright, about 25 minutes later, we got our burgers. As you saw, I just put a little indent in the middle of that burger bun, okay? That's going to stop it from plumping up. That's going to make sure it is flat and perfect. So we're going to throw it on there. I like mine about medium well, my burgers. So a couple of minutes later, about 2 minutes later, going to give that a nice toss. I got those beautiful grill marks I'm using with this great pan I got. And we're going to top it off with some cheese. I'm using, I think a pepper jack actually here. I believe. I got a couple slices at Albertsons. I'm not sure which one that one was. Alright, now I love mushrooms, so it's got a non-stick pan. A little bit of oil, not too much because the mushrooms have a lot of water. We're just going to season everything with some salt. That's going to help actually draw a lot of that water that's in the mushrooms. Of course, some fresh cracked black pepper. And shockingly, I like spice, so a little more crushed peppers for me. And we're going to saute these for just a couple of minutes. You don't want them too soft. Just cook them down, and right there, they are perfect. Delicious. I love mushrooms. Oh, I just eat those raw. Raw even, or cooked, just as a snack. Alright, now we're topping it off with an egg. I'm using that same ring mold I used for the meat. Actually, I washed it, of course. Sprayed it with a little bit of non-stick vegetable oil. And we're going to throw that egg in there. Now, this is the trick actually McDonald's does for their Egg McMuffins. They throw it in there, they crack the yolk, they put a little water in the pan and cover it. That's going to cook the top of the egg perfectly. Of course, I season it with some salt and some fresh cracked black pepper. And here we are back to the buns. Those buns were amazing. I let them cool down. They were delicious. They look beautiful. They're so soft and tender on the inside, a little crispy on the outside. We're going to throw that on the grill that we cooked the burger just to get those nice char marks. And we were done. We go ahead and put our burger, our beautiful mushrooms, a tomato, onion, that beautiful egg. And look at that. Oh my goodness. I cannot tell you how gorgeous that yolk, once you burst it, it just flows down. Amazing. I love that shot. I can watch it over and over. So beautiful. But it was a delicious burger, guys. I hope you guys try it. These buns are amazing. Don't buy no more store buns. Look how easy they are to make. Alright guys, well that was my classic burger with homemade buns Hun. And if there's any recipes you guys would like to learn how to make, let me know. And as always, hope you guys enjoy.